next reader is Roger Jones, who has taught at Texas State University in San Marcos since 1987. He is the author of the chapbooks Remembering New London, Familial, and Goodbye, as well as the full-length collections Strata and Are We There Yet? Welcome.
Thank y'all for coming, by the way. I'm going to read 4 poems. 2 of these are Japanese haibun. I wrote a lot of those, and I sort of put those in the readings every time now. So I'm going to read 2 of those, and then I'm going to read 2 just regular poems. Let's see how that goes. This is called Classroom with Pictures. Haibun, by the way, is like a prose poem. It ends with a little haiku, so there's a jump there. A walk up that not so long street led to the 2-story stately brick school building where we began. Stone pillars like a temple, large trees outside scotched with fall colors. Mrs. Nelson was rarely there, always gone it seemed, a pert young sub forever filling in for her. Maybe Mrs. N returned briefly that year, or maybe she was too ill. One day Miss O told us to keep Mrs. N in our prayers. Then she told us to put on our coats because it was dark outside and fall. She sat down at the upright piano and taught us to sing, Open Up Your Bumper Chute. We sang not knowing what it meant or what was next. Soon enough the bell sounded. We thundered down the hall amid louder voices, out the big double door into cold, straight rain. Kindergarten, smells of a crayon box, corn gold, apple red, burnt umber. This is called Butterfly Ranching. I think that would make a good book title, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. Midsummer, and the American snout butterflies are passing through on regular migration. This year, because of drought, the yellow jackets are missing. The snouts have the run of things. In summer's record heat, huge numbers of them hang out in trees. Hackberries, their favorites. Early afternoons, I step outside, turn on the hose, and adjust the nozzle so to spread a light coat of water all over blistering hot dust and dying lawn grass. As if shaken out of limbs and leaves, butterflies cascade down immediately. I find myself surrounded as they descend, as in a singular cloud, from trees to wet, hot-scented earth, all fluttering in motion as if by design. Bright sunlight on the barn wall, I lean a shovel against its thin shadow. I wrote this poem about 3 or 4 months after my dad passed away. I was trying to remember a bunch of stuff, and this popped up. Flats fixed. Dad knows a guy who fixes flat tires cheap. East side of town, a rotten tooth of a garage. Bald wheels lying around, and a raucous machine with jackhammer rackets that end abruptly. Psst. Thank you, anyhow. Old wobbly kitchen chairs line the lobby. No talk, just waiting. Dad looks around. He grew up a block away 80 years ago. There's a book all around us that no one ever wrote. Dad prefers that story to this one. Sometimes he drifts into nostalgia, quiet languor. It's easy to want the far away to be close. Soon the guy, skull cap turned backwards, rolls the tire back out, good as new. Dad unpeels a soiled tin, takes another look around the building. Oil stains and shadows, a busted jack. We hoist the tire back into the truck. Things to do, just keep on driving. This poem is called Government Bridge, and there was a year when my colleague Kathleen Pierce and I lived right across the Mississippi River from each other back in the early 60s. And she probably remembers this. There's a bridge that my father used to have to travel across to get to the arsenal on Rock Island, literally. And the bridge scared the hell out of me when I was a child. And this poem is a description of why. It was one of those bridges that had moved for the barges. Oldest town, the Iron Swing Bridge, was a dreadful cantilevered relic with bars, pulleys, and a deep, fearful air of the mechanical sublime. It rattled me as a child, hulking impersonal across from its bank on the island like a rustling dinosaur. Far more frightful at night when the wide river ran past town in darkness. A constant shudder one could not unhear, making us see it even more vividly inward. Out of dense night air and eternal pulse of river, a plaintive horn would signal, a red light appear in the distance, and the bridge would go into its clanking, clattering motion, a dirge of metallic scrapes along unseen tracks, lopsided pulleys, as half the bridge soon stood alone across the way, and the near half swung broadside to the flow. Soon the dimly lit passing craft, barge most often or riverboat, would glide noiselessly through. From a bank we could see the other side of a severed highway in darkness. A few lonely sprinkled lights suspended there, the road itself like an abruptly halted thought. A sheer drop in space to the unseen abyss below. We held our breath in fear of non-endings, but in time the inhuman creak and iron shudder of the retracted side would commence again in reverse. The intersected commerce of road to road to the island itself would resume its duty, while the starless night and river rejoined, surged on. Thank you.